Attention card shoppers, the time is 7:45. Cards will be closing in 15 minutes. Please make your final purchases and take them to the register. Thank you for shopping at cards.
Are we personally worried because of what it is? No, I have a calm. My granddaughter just asked me that. She works here. And I said, no, I have a calmness about it. I don't know. I'm here to make sure everybody gets food, and is taken care of. I try to stay 6 feet from everybody now, but it doesn't work well.
This is a part-time job for me. I'm actually a upper middle-aged full-time college student. So I rely on this income to pay my bills, Do I want to get the virus? No, I don't think I'm high risk for dying from the virus. So, I just stay sensible.
Attention cards customers, the time is now 8 o'clock and cards is now closed. Please take your final purchases to the register, and as always, thank you for shopping at cards.
It's only like 3 though.
But nah,
So right now, grocery stores are scary. With how we know COVID-19 and the coronavirus spreads, it's every single person you come in contact with, every single surface you touch, it's a possible route to get infected. Yet grocery store workers who are continually touching surfaces and continually coming in contact with people are going into work because they're considered life-sustaining right now. So I wanted to do a story about grocery store workers. We went to a grocery store overnight and we followed a couple stock workers. And what was supposed to be a story about trying to overcome these fears of coronavirus and staying clean and staying vigilant turned out to be a completely different story altogether.
This just into us giant is modifying its store hours in response to the virus outbreak.
The basic items are starting to disappear from store shelves, that's for sure.
As of this afternoon, we have 33 Pennsylvanians who have tested positive for COVID-19.
Effective at midnight, all non-essential stores are to close in Pennsylvania.
One place a lot of people visit, especially on the weekends, is the grocery store.
I've been a reporter for just about 7 years now. And one of my first beats was covering sexual health and specifically HIV and how it spread in parts of the nation. Since then, I've been covering criminal justice for the past couple of years, and that's what I do now in central Pennsylvania. As reporters, we're trained to go with our gut, but our guts are sometimes wrong. We're human. So I like to think of it as, go with your gut, but let the facts kind of lead you with where the story is. So when the governor announced all these different shutdowns across the state, my editor pulled me into his office and he said, this is going to be a big deal. And it's going to be a big deal for grocery store workers. Turns out he was right. Sheets. When we think of people on the front lines of emergency situations, we think about doctors, EMS workers, nurses, firefighters, and police, but nobody really thinks about the people who don't make that list of first responders. But to some degree, police officers and firefighters and nurses and doctors, they know what they signed up for when they took that job. I don't think a cashier making $12 an hour at a grocery store knew that they were going to sign up to be in the front lines of a pandemic. So we wanted to do a documentary about these people. So we followed grocery store workers around for a night. When we first went in, we were introduced to this guy named Bob. He worked as an overnight stock guy.
We're in the front of the store.
And since I am in the dairy department, we'll just go visit the dairy department and we'll see what's happening over there.
And he was this nice, jovial, charismatic guy, and he absolutely loved his job.
We're just adding a little bit more, little by little, to the shelves. I enjoy the fact that, Carnes doesn't go to people to hire them, people come to them. And the thing that I really love about Carnes is it is family owned. They're 60 years old. They were founded the year that I was born. So that kind of has some really good meaning for me.
And we learned a lot about Bob in a very short amount of time. We learned that he was, a theater guy back in the day.
I met Petula Clark. She was a singer from the 60s. Eartha Kitt. The Road Company of Chicago was performing, and on my 40th birthday, the cast of Chicago, including the late Alan Thicke, sang Happy Birthday to me in the tour room. So that was kind of really cool.
He was a bit of a jokester.
I did something today that this should not be on camera. Because I'm a little devilish. I like to have fun. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the statue of the gentleman reading a newspaper at the end of State Street along Front.
Did you put that on him?
I don't normally toot my own horn, but yeah.
But more than anything else, he really loved helping people.
And I had this adorable little lady came up to me and she asked me where the canned meat was. And I said, well, I always say, I'm headed in that direction, I'll walk you there. And she kind of covered her mouth and she said, it's so embarrassing at my age to be buying canned meat. But I just reassured her and I said, listen, at my age, I was raised on fried Spam sandwiches. They were a treat.
So we followed Bob around for a night and he showed us what it was like for him.
When I left at 7 o'clock this morning, that was completely filled. And this is one day's worth of people shopping, the empty spots. If you'll notice, our yogurts are always on a great sale, and we haven't been able to keep them on the shelf. People are buying the allotted amounts. Then what happens, the driver will typically open his own truck door for safety purposes. We'll raise the ramp and get the product out.
Across the nation, we've seen some unprecedented panic buying in grocery stores. And experts say this is because people assume there is a food shortage. There's no food shortage.
There have been pictures of shelves being denuded of goods, whether it's food goods or paper goods or so forth. Is this a problem of supply or just demand run amok?
You don't have to buy so much. Take it easy. Just relax.
If you go once a week, continue to go once a week.
People from the president down to city mayors have said, stop doing this, stop going out and panic buying. There's no need to buy the store. But stores still have been swamped, lines wrapped around the outside of stores. We've seen this on Twitter, we've seen this on Facebook, we've seen this almost everywhere. It's similar to what happens when preparing for an extended snowstorm. But the difference here is that for every person that goes into a grocery store, there is a higher risk for spreading the infection. From what we know, the coronavirus can spread to humans from surfaces, lingers in the air for hours, and jumps quickly from person-to-person contact. Whenever a person enters into a grocery store, they're essentially touching everything. And other people touch what they touch. And the transmission can grow exponentially. This makes grocery store workers, who are constantly interacting, restocking, and rearranging those surfaces, at a higher risk. This is something that we expected people like Bob, like other coworkers, to really care about, to keep themselves safe, to keep themselves clean. But the more time we spent with Bob and others, the more we kind of realized that that wasn't the case.
Truly, who wouldn't want a job where you could have music reminding you of your happy youth all night long, every night?
everybody is wearing gloves during the day. I'm noticing you're not wearing gloves right now. Why?
No. You know what? It's a cop-out, but it's very hard to work with them on. I'm not an anxious person. I don't worry a whole lot about what I can't control. I think the important thing is just common sense and make those your goals for each day. Trust me, I get through a lot of it with prayer.
And you say that you're not worried. I'm wondering,
I don't feel that I'm at risk. I'm a non-smoker, I'm active, I'm healthy, I eat the best that I can, and I say that, as I know that I have a big old bag of sour cream and onion potato chips at home waiting for me, should the Spirit move me, but you'll notice I'm not wearing a mask. I can't fall into that. That's just not me. I feel that that's, it's enough to be socially distant 4 feet from you, and I'll even be 6 or 8 feet from you and talk louder if you need me to. But yeah, for a lot of people, life as they know it has come to a halt. For me, I can't ever imagining that happening. As far as I'm concerned, as I'm coming in, the last customers are leaving, so it's kind of maybe a blessing in disguise, I don't know. Break time.
Okay.
Compare the past couple days to the past couple weeks.
The last couple of days, we really haven't been getting much of anything in. The biggest bulk of stuff we try and get paper products in, and we can't even get them anymore. The warehouse is on back order. They told us for as far as sanitary wipes, you're looking at a 4-month backlog.
I mean, it seems pretty understandable why people are acting this way.
Yeah, they're panicking. It's something that you don't see. I mean, if it would show up, you could see it, you could say avoid it, but you don't know. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. It's there. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And people are going crazy wearing gloves all the time.
I kind of feel this way. I'm good with my faith. I would be surprised if I got it. I know that sounds lame, but that's how I feel. I think the big shock would be as if this disease would take me. Because I've been through a lot worse. I really have.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much so, yeah. Yeah, I believe in God, and if it's like Bob said, if your numbers up, your numbers up.
That was a really uncomfortable moment, actually. And it wasn't because I didn't trust Bob or Eugene, that they were healthy or able-bodied. It was more that there was a sense of denial that they couldn't get it.
But they didn't see any need for precautions from spreading the virus.
So I sat down with Bob just to kind of make sense of it all.
A lot of people have asked me, why don't I seem so anxious? Why don't I seem so stressed about this? This is something that we cannot fight. We really can't. We can try, but there's no point. I'm doing the best I can as a single male at my age bracket, taking care of myself, listening to the news, but not overindulging my senses with the news. Faith keeps me hopeful. First and foremost, though, I'm really looking forward, and you can't put a date on it, but Easter would be a nice way to get back into our houses of worship.
My first thoughts were, it's nothing but a bad flu. I'm like, oh, we're okay. I was talking to my husband and my kids about it. I was like, all I'm hearing is it's a really bad flu. We're gonna be fine. And then I watched the news more. I started paying attention more, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't really gonna be that great.
we ended up coming across Chelsea. She's actually the granddaughter of Eugene, and she had a completely different take on what was happening.
Usually if I have to buy anything, I'll grab it, then clock in, and then pay for it as soon as the cashier's open. That way I don't have to talk to anyone, get close. Because I have children at home, so they're my main concern. My grandfather works here. That's who I was talking to this morning. And I keep telling him, you need to be careful, you need to wear gloves, you need to be mindful of what you're doing.
He kind of mentioned that if it's his time, it's his time.
Oh yeah, he's stubborn. That's what it is.
So how are you enforcing that?
For what? Oh, you can't. I'll keep talking, he won't listen. As long as I say it, I feel better.
What I would take away from all of those, let's start with the pandemic. I don't think it's the first one I've lived through. I know it's going to be one that I'm going to survive. Just because you can't keep a good man down. It's as simple as that. Honestly, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and I think those lessons will unfold every day. The whole landscape might change a little bit, temporarily or permanently. Right now, this has become a norm. This is normal for us. And when everything's done, the pandemic is under control. Hopefully, I say that. It will be under control. Then we might face a new normal.
I don't think Bob is misinformed. I don't even think he's even naive. I think he is just like a lot of other people in America right now who still just don't get how serious this is.
Well, that wasn't what I expected.